What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your licensed real estate market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. And today, this video is actually going to be geared more towards first-time home buyers. The reason I'm making this video is because within the last week, I've gotten 3 different text messages from 3 different first-time home buyers asking me about the Zillow 1% down payment program. So if you haven't heard, Zillow is rolling out a pilot in Arizona only for now that's allowing people to put down 1% when they're purchasing a home. And then essentially what Zillow wants to do is give them the other 2% to make housing, to make your, monthly payment, whatever you want to call it, more affordable. And this is just another one of those tactics that I don't like. The reason the video is geared more towards first-time home buyers is because it's your first time owning a home. You don't know the maintenance costs of owning a home. You don't know all of the things that can arise with owning a home. Owning a home is a luxury. It's a privilege, especially in this market that we're in right now. But so many people are kind of looking for the path of least resistance. And listen, if you're somebody that has 10, 20%, even more to put down, you're financially stable, that is amazing. You know that. And if somebody does have those means, you're able to put down 10%, you're able to put down 20%, and you say, hey, I'd like to take advantage of this program. I'd like to only put 3% down because I want to have money for XYZ. Maybe I want to do some renovations. Maybe I have student loans to pay off. Maybe I want to pay off my car. That's totally fine. But the amount of first-time home buyers that I've spoken to that are just like, hey, Sasha, I have $20,000. I want to buy a house at this price range. After your down payment, after your closing costs, you're almost left with nothing. You're left with $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 in the bank. And right now, for people like that, it honestly is not the best time for you to buy a home. The unaffordability, guys, listen to this. Interest rates are at a 22-year high. We haven't seen interest rates at what they're at in the last 22 years. Guess what we also have? Interest rates haven't been this high for 22 years. Home prices have never been this high. 38% of a household's income is going to their monthly mortgage payment for the average sales price. Housing affordability is the worst it's been since 1984. That's almost 40 years. So for the people that are looking for these small down payments, that don't have a lot of money saved up to buy a home, right now is possibly the worst time to buy a home if you are in that position. If you're somebody that's financially stable, you have the means for, it doesn't matter what down payment it is, as long as you have the funds to make the monthly payments, as long as you have the money to make at least a 3 to 5% down payment, not requesting any homebuyer grants, not requesting, if this thing works out with Zillow where they're doing the 1% down, it could start going to other states, but right now it's not. But I'm thinking because they rolled this out, there's possible chance that other banks might start rolling something like this out too. But if you're somebody that has to rely on that type of assistance without having the funds necessary to buy a home almost regularly, being able to put down 3%, being able to put down 5%, being able to pay 1.5% to 2% in closing costs, and having reserves left over. If you're not able to do that right now, it might not be the best time for you to buy a home. But the reason I'm telling you this, the reason I'm making this video is because we have all heard, and I'm not sure if you know, marry the home and date the rate. I cannot tell you, I actually stopped working with certain people in the real estate industry because this is what they were telling people. I personally am a worst case scenario person when it comes to things like interest rate. I don't want people relying on the Federal Reserve. I don't want people relying on something, a government grant to be able to afford their monthly payment. The reason I say that is this past year, I have seen so many houses that were recently purchased in the last year plus, in the last 1 to 2 years, and they're starting to hit the market again. A lot of people took that advice of marry the home, date the rate, it's okay as long as you can afford this rate for 6 months, 8 months to a year. Rates are going to come down, you're going to be able to afford it once you're able to refinance. I hate that advice. If you cannot afford your monthly payment for a home right now, and you're banking on the idea of, the rates will come down eventually, I'll just refinance in 6 months, in a year, or in 18 months, and then, I'll be able to afford it a lot better. That is not a smart strategy. I'm not a financial advisor, but the fact that I'm seeing so many of these houses that were purchased in the last year come back on the market, not renovated, almost nothing being changed, and coming back at the listed price and or a little bit above, $25,000 above what they paid for it last year. Some are delusional, maybe doing $50,000 above, is kind of crazy to me. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe they don't like the neighborhood, maybe they don't like the schools, maybe they got a job relocation, but it's very odd to me. In my neighborhood has roughly about 300 or so homes, and there's 2 houses that were bought in the last year and a half that are on the market right now. And I'd love to ask them and see, was it the monthly payment? Were you maybe one of these people banking on the interest rate coming down and then ending up having to refinance, or aren't you? But it's just very interesting for me to see this. It's very interesting for me to talk to a lot of first-time home buyers that seem to have this panic. Oh, if I don't buy now, prices are just going to keep going up. If I don't buy now, I'll never be able to afford a home. I need to do this now. And that's why they're looking for those means of, hey, I want to put way less down. They're essentially buying stuff they can't afford. And what does that remind you of? It's very similar to 2008. In 2008, they had what was called the ninja loan. No income, no job, or assets. They were loaning out money to people that had low-paying jobs or no jobs and no assets to pay everything back. That's the reason we had so many foreclosures. And anytime I start seeing something like this, tossing around the idea of 1% down payment, new construction, doing everything possible not to lower the prices of their homes, but giving you, the 2-to-1 buy down where your interest rate is essentially lower for the first 2 years and then it jumps to what the market is, giving you all of the appliances, a refrigerator, washer, dryer, blinds, everything possible, and not lowering the price is scaring me for the first-time home buyers. If you've bought a home before, maintenance costs of a home, you're a little bit more homeowner savvy. But right now, the millennials, the younger generation, they really don't know what is all incorporated in that cost. And I just really do not want to see people make a mistake. I'm very fortunate enough that everybody that I've worked with, nobody's had to call me and say, hey, Sasha, I can't afford this down payment. Because even when the rates were in the low 3s or the mid 3s, and I had people buying new construction homes that weren't going to be completed for another 8 to 12 months, I was telling them, listen, you have an amazing rate right now. It's at a 3.25, but the home is not going to be completed for another 8 to 12 months, and you cannot lock in this rate right now. We're going to have to wait till about 60 days before closing to do so. All of the new construction that I had at that time, everybody closed with no problem, even though the rates were in the low 5s when that happened, because I was preparing my clients for that potential happening. And right now, I'm just not seeing a lot of people prepared. Marry the home, date the rate. People think that if you can afford the payment for 6 months, you're going to be totally fine, totally in the clear. With what I'm seeing right now, I don't see that. I honestly think there's a lot of people out there hurting with the payment because they thought last year that by right now they would be able to refinance. That is not the case. Rates are almost at 7.5, and that is with a really good credit score, and they're only anticipated to go up. So before you go in and make a purchase, make sure you're talking to the lender. Make sure that your affordability is at where you need to be so you do not put yourself in a bad position down the line later. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.